We begin another incredible week of learning. 5 minutes of tefillah together every single day. Quick synopsis where we left off. We're talking about a type of tefillah called Amida. Vayamoid Pinchas vayifalel. And Pinchas got up, he stood up, and he davened. And in the previous year, we learned an incredible chiddush, a wonderful novelty, that the standing itself, Vayamoid, that itself is a form of tefillah. Why? Explained the Shearim Pinkus so beautifully. Because the act of standing is an act of shedding one's physicalities. When you're sitting, when you're heavy, you're gashmi, you're physical. When you stand up, when you try to stand to serve Hashem, the act of standing itself is an act of showing Hashem that you're serving Him. And that itself is the first tefillah that one says, the act that he stands up. And he ended as explaining that it's similar to nevuah, to prophecy, in that you're connecting to Hashem on a very real and visceral level, even before you open up your mouth. And today Rav Shimshon Pincus continues in Eis Beis, and he says what he coins a chidush gadol, a great novelty. Says Rav Shimshon Pincus that there's one mitzvah that is different than the rest. All mitzvahs are dependent upon the action that was done. Was the action done? Was the action not done? Davening, tefillah, amida, standing in prayer, says Rav Shimshon Pincus, goes one step deeper. It's not only about the action that was done, but rather the person himself is an ingredient as well. And he says, where do we learn this from? We learn that what are we doing when we're davening? What we're doing is we're akin to He serving in the Beis HaMikdash. The Kayhanim b'Avodasam, the Leviim b'Shiram. The Kayhanim and the Leviim, when they are serving Hashem, they as people are intrinsic ingredients. It's not just was the carbon brought or not? Was the animal sacrificed, slaughtered, brought up, and burnt? No. The Kohen himself, we find, is an incredible and intrinsic ingredient in the carbon. Says Rav Shimshon Pincus, when we are davening, we are the same. And he explains that in the Beis HaMikdash there was a special chiba yisera, an incredible love for the avodah in the Beis HaMikdash. So much so, we find differences than we find by all other mitzvahs. He explains, and many know, a Gemara in Yuma, that they had a special lottery. They had to draw lots to figure out who is going to be the one that serves in the Beis HaMikdash, because the Kayhanim had such a zeal, such a love, such a zest to want to perform the avodah. At times, they would push each other. At times, it would become a sakana, because everyone wanted to be the person in the Beis HaMikdash serving Hashem. Says Rav Shimshon Pincus, this is how we have to approach. This is the correct mindset when we're coming to daven. That aside for the fact that we're dealing with a mitzvah of tefillah, beside for the fact that we're coming to ask from God what we need and what we want, and the creator of the world who's able to do and will do everything for us, there's something so much deeper. Our lottery, our lot is being picked. It is our turn to serve in the Beis HaMikdash. It's our moment to be like the Malachim, he says, that are being meshamesh, that are serving in front of Hashem constantly. And with that approach, we walk into daven and we realize that it's not just the words that we say. It's not just the end result of what was the mitzvah, what was the tefillah. But we as the people performing the avodah is such an important ingredient. And that's why we find specific halachas that we're going to discuss. That one has to have a clean body, you have to use the bathroom beforehand. One has to have clean and appropriate garments to daven. One puts his feet together. Why? Because we as the people performing this avodah, performing this service in the Beis HaMikdash, this beloved service similar to the Malachim and the Kohanim, we are an intrinsic ingredient. So similar to that act of standing is the first tefillah. Similar is we as people. How are we? What is our body like? What are our thoughts like? How are we dressed when we approach davening? Because we as the people davening are an intrinsic and separate component to the tefillah, to the avodah as well.